Welcome back to Hobson Hay and Cattle. Today we're going to be looking at a new addition to the 2025 hay season. As y'all can see behind me, here's the Massey Ferguson 4707. And here's the new addition to 2025 hay season. It's a Krone Active Mow R320. I'm sure I mentioned in some videos last year that our coon hay cutters were getting pretty wore out. They're still good cutters, but for as much hay as we cut, we needed to upgrade. This cutter is used, it's not a brand new hay cutter. I'll undo the tarp here and I'll show y'all. Underneath, it's got this little bar here you can lock it up with, but y'all can see there, this cutter's in really good shape. I mean, not hardly any slack in it. You can see what little bit that thing moves before this end disc turns. That's not much at all. It's smooth. I'll get on the tractor here in a second, turn it on, and let y'all hear it. But everything under here is in good shape, no rust or anything. The tarps on our hay cutters, and we wash our hay cutters every year, if not more than once a year, like a couple times a season. And we was constantly having to weld on these frames under here. They were just the vibration. These cutters take a pretty good beating, even babying it. Like, we take care of our hay equipment. We don't beat it to death and all that, but they still take a pretty good beating, just bouncing across the ground at slower speeds. But I'm sure most of y'all have seen Krone hay cutters before. But Krones are shaft driven. As y'all can see, there's a shaft there. And there's a shaft that runs through this tube to this gearbox right here, which is driven by the PTO shaft on the tractor. So this hay cutter don't have any belts on it. Curious to see how that works. The guy we bought this cutter from, it was an older guy. He kept having problems with the slip clutch right here slipping on the shaft that was on it, which it had the factory Krone shaft on it. He put this cover on it this shaft on it last year with a different style of slip clutch, and he said he never had no more problems with it. One thing I do like about this hay cutter versus the coon, as you can see, right here's a grease fitting. There's grease fittings here, and there's grease fittings here where your cutter pivots, and your cylinder right here. That is one thing with the coon cutters. They don't have grease fittings on any of that. The only thing you would grease on a coon is the PTO shaft. And a lot of this stuff will get wore out pretty bad. And them coons, they have a bushing in here, which they're designed a little bit different than this, but they have bushings in here, and without being able to grease them, they wear out. Both of our hay cutters have been rebuilt. We've rebuilt them 2 or 3 times because they just get wore out right here. I'll go over here and show y'all what I'm talking about on the coon cutter. So as y'all can see here, I'm over here at the coon cutter now, and if y'all can see, there's a brass bushing right there at the tip of my finger. Y'all might can see it there. There's a bushing on this arm right here and this arm right here. Well, there's no grease fittings right here, so the whole time, all the pivoting that happens right here, there's no greasing, like you can't grease it or anything, so it just wears them out. And they come from the factory with like plastic ones, but we've put brass ones in both of them. And there's the other one right there. Alright, so back over here at the Krone. One thing with these Krone hay cutters, they have 2 springs here, whereas the Kuhns just have 1 spring. And you can adjust the tension on these springs with these right here. You can't see where it's set right now, but there's more holes back here, and you can slide these out, control your ground pressure out there. But when these things are supposed to be set where you can pretty much pick the end of the bar up from out here, which I can't pick it up with one arm, but that's gonna help a lot with the pull on the tractor, because when that cutter's running like this, pulling against your tractor, them Kuhns have a lot of drag on them. Tractors still pull them just fine, but this tractor, with it being 70 horsepower, it does a great job pulling that 10-foot hay cutter. But like when you're taking off from a stop and stuff like that, it really pulls it down. And we're hoping that this cutter here is a little bit lighter too, and being able to get some of the weight off the end of that bar, we're hoping it'll be better, maybe easier to pull, even for the big tractor. Because I mean, the easier it is to pull, the less fuel you're gonna burn trying to pull it. Let's get in the tractor here and we'll turn it on, and I'll let y'all hear it, and then I'm gonna grease it. Got all these grease fittings here. I may wait and check the oil in that gearbox before I get ready to cut with it, but I'm sure it's good because there's no leaks on it anywhere. You can see it's clean all around it. But I'll still probably pull that plug out there. I'm gonna guess that's the full one. I'll look at the book, and that's probably where you put it in. That's your full mark, and there's your drain plug. I'll still check it before we go to start cutting hay with it. Alright, let's get up in the tractor and I'll turn it on. Alright, so I'm in the tractor now. Y'all can see there. I'll engage the PTO right quick. Back there. I mean, if you open the back window, it gets pretty loud. Another thing we really like about the Krones is they have quick change blades. Whereas the Kuhns, you have to pull a bolt out and all that to swap the blades. But this here, you just quick change blades. I'll try to do it. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. As you can see, here's the tool right here. And what you do, I'm just going to try to set the camera up right there somewhere. What you do is you just slide this tool right in here behind it like this, and you just pry it down on it. You and take the old blade out. Say you wanna flip it. Well, it was in there like this, you can flip it over. And now you're cutting with a clean blade. If you wasn't, here's how much faster it'd be. Pull it out, flip it, put it right back in. You can do that. You can do that quicker than you can. You can do that quicker than you can just take the blade off of one of them other hay cutters, having a jack with them bolts. That's another thing we really liked about the Krone. And that's one of the big reasons we're wanting to try this, reason we're switching. But we just hope the Krones do us as good as the Kuhns have done us. Because them Kuhns has been heck of a mower. And if we wasn't baling as much hay as we're baling, we would still be running the Kuhns. We wouldn't be even considering changing. But as much hay as we still bale, and we just want to try something different, something new. We've never owned a Krone before. We've run them a time or two, but we've never owned them. Get up in the tractor too, and there's something else I want to show y'all with a Krone. You don't have to flip the tarp over to fold the hay cutter up. You just fold it up with it unfolded. And that's the thing that saves a lot of time when you're cutting a bunch of small fields, because a couple of places we cut hay on, it is a bunch of small fields. And you gotta constantly get off and flip your tarp over to fold up and go to a different field. But we'll get in the tractor and I'll show y'all how the Krone works. So with the Krone, I've already, normally you would have to pull this rope. As y'all see that deal move down there? That's how you pick it up, because that's your stop for like when you're cutting and you want to pick it up to turn around or something. That's your stop to keep being able to fold it all the way up. But you have to pull that rope to fold it up. And you just raise your 3-point all the way up like you did now. And you just pull this lever. Y'all can see there it's coming up. Just like that, it's folded up. Ain't got to flip your tarp over or anything. And when you get to the field and get ready to cut, you just push your lever. You can see there to let it down. Just like that. You're not having to jack with latches and all that. The way this cutter is, it's got a valve right there, if you can see it. That valve right there is on the hydraulic cylinder, and that's what locks the cutter from being able to unfold. There's no hydraulic flow to that cylinder. But that's it on it. We'll I'm gonna go grease it right quick. Might try to get a little bit of video of greasing. Alright, that's that. Now I just need to grease the main shaft. This grease fitting in here ain't turned to where I can get on it with that grease gun. It's really loose. Try to turn it where I can get on it with that grease gun. Almost looks like it's not at enough of an angle. And it ain't. Crap. Just making a mess. Try to unhook it from the tractor and see if I can get it at a different angle. Hoping I can get a different angle at it. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. We can get straight on it now. And it took. That's always a good sign. Now let me try to get the top one up here. Alright. I should have the hay cutter greased. So now, all I gotta do is check the oil in the bar and the gearbox. All I got left to do now is check the oil in the bar and the gearbox. And I'll probably wait and do that when I get ready to cut with it. Which, from the looks of it, should be in the next week or two, hopefully. We've got 25 acres to cut that's ready. But that's the new hay cutter for the 2025 hay season.